Warning: sensitive images.
Be veg, go green to save the planet.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nasze programy oferują wiele języków. Prosimy zobaczyć suprememastertv.com/schedule.
So whatever the crisis is, whether it's animal farming, climate change, injustices of any way, the way you change that is through behavior change and inspiring others to change their ways as well. And so each one of us as advocates for whatever cause we believe in, we can exponentially increase the impact that each one of us can have by encouraging others to take action.
John Oberg, Vegan, a voice for the voiceless, part 2 of 2. Continue watching to find out more. İyi günler means have a good day in Turkish. I'm Ebru. The people of Turkey wish you iyi günler and that you be happy and blessed for all your days. Hello, graceful viewers, and thank you for joining us today for the second part of our show featuring animal advocate Mr. John Oberg, who has a great vision for the future well-being of animals and spends his life and career making the public aware through social media platforms of the painstakingly cruel treatment inflicted on factory-farmed animals. Mr. Oberg has been an empathetic voice for the animals with over 200 million impressions of his content on social media. In the previous episode, Mr. Oberg generously shared with us his insightful knowledge of the effectiveness of using social media. But how does he get such a large following? Is there a how-to on the social media platform?
The key to success on social media is being as effective as possible and having that mindset as much as possible. Constantly analyzing your work and asking, is this as effective as I can be given my current set of resources and all of the variations and all the variables at hand. And if you aren't being as effective, then try to be more effective and use your voice. And also, don't feel like you have to fit some mold out there, but also don't feel like you have to reinvent the wheel. There are lots of good advocates out there doing really great work. So you don't need to start from scratch. Okay, you can look at what's working and what's not working for others and learn from them, and then apply that to your own social media strategy. As animal advocates, we have a lot of content to pull from. There are lots of undercover abuse videos, for example, from factory farms and slaughterhouses around the world. But there's also really great inspiring content from animal sanctuaries and so many places like that. Where people can see this content, be inspired, want to follow you, and so on. And this cycle kind of all works together seamlessly. And so if you're posting a lot of content that people really want to engage with, they are going to want to follow you.
A few years ago, Mr. Oberg decided to establish an account on Patreon, and he kindly shares with us how this has helped to achieve his goals in animal advocacy.
Patreon is essentially a platform that allows the allows supporters of individuals, whether they're individual advocates or activists or just anybody in general, to be supported by people who want to support their work. So for me, I have about 200 patrons who believe that the work that I'm doing is important, and so they sign up to become patrons. And many of these patrons are just $5 a month, and it's basically the price of a coffee once per month. And it creates a sustainable income for me so that I can do this work day in and day out. Because if I didn't have a way of supporting myself and supporting the work that I do, I wouldn't be able to do this work. And so, yes, I'm out there getting tens of millions of views of my content every year, but those tens of millions of views would not at all be possible if it wasn't for the patrons out there who support my work.
There is no doubt that animal livestock raising is the root cause of climate change. A recent discovery of a new strain of a zoonotic virus with pandemic potential in the abattoirs and pig farming industry is very alarming. The link between animal consumption and global health is becoming a concern. Mr. Oberg shared his thoughts with us.
The way that we are treating animals, both literally treating them, but also looking at them as nothing more than commodities, is unsustainable, and it's unhealthy in every possible way. It's unhealthy for ourselves. It's unhealthy mentally to treat animals this way and to turn a blind eye to their suffering. And it's unhealthy to put these animals in these confine them in these ways that is just so cruel, but also just so unhealthy and can lead to catastrophic problems. And we have pandemics now, and pandemics not only cause harm and suffering to people, but also just economies as well. And so everyone really has an incentive to say no to this kind of treatment that's leading to global catastrophes, whether it's pandemics or climate change. Each one of us can say no to this cruelty, can say no to animal farming. And it is easier than ever with great vegan restaurants out there like Loving Hut, who are throughout the whole globe, and so many others where people say, I don't want to choose animal cruelty today. I want to choose compassion on my plate. I want to make a difference to the planet. I want to not contribute to climate change and not contribute to the potential of global pandemics. And by choosing vegan, that is the way forward.
Mr. Oberg also expressed how the world should change to address these crises.
The way that the world should change to balance crises and to deal with crises is to have more empathy. We need to have more empathy for others, but not just having empathy and understanding of others, but also getting that empathy to drive behavior change. Because it's not just important for us to think good thoughts and to wish good thoughts or to pray for good thoughts. It's also important for those thoughts to drive our behavior. And for advocates out there who, or for people, it doesn't matter if you're an advocate or not. If you oppose animal cruelty, for example, or you want to create a kinder world for animals, how do you do that? You change your behavior. You choose not to support factory farms. You choose not to support animal farming. You choose the plant-based options out there. You choose to go vegan. And that's how you are going to change the world. So whatever the crisis is, whether it's animal farming, climate change, injustices of any way, the way you change that is through behavior change and inspiring others to change their ways as well. And so each one of us as advocates for whatever cause we believe in, we can exponentially increase the impact that each one of us can have by encouraging others to take action.
Lastly, we end our show today with Mr. Oberg's advice on what people who want to promote animal welfare can do themselves.
I believe that doing so with a smile is going to get you further than screaming or yelling at people. I think it's very important for us as advocates to really come to people in a way that is going to be effective, reaching people where they are rather than where we want them to be. So for me, I really view social media as a massive way to impact people. That's certainly not the only way that we can impact people and reach people. Traditional media is good, reaching people directly, friends and family, but strangers out there especially, standing on street corners and handing out leaflets, showing people videos, doing all kinds of forms of advocacy, showing people great vegan food. There's so many, there are hundreds of types of great effective vegan advocacy out there. And so what I really recommend doing is in addition to finding community, also trying to find advocacy out there that you can get involved in and see what advocacy speaks most to you. Whatever the advocacy is, if it's effective and it speaks to you, then run with it.
A big thank you, Mr. John Oberg, for all that you do to help wake up mankind on this journey to creating a kinder world for animals. We are sincerely grateful for your huge heart and amazing talent on social media. For more information, please visit johnoberg.org, patreon.com/John Oberg. Enlightened viewers, thank you for your company today. Coming up next is Magical Power is Never Enough to Protect You, Part 1 of 5 on Between Master and Disciples, right after noteworthy news. May your hearts be filled with compassion and kindness.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/VE.
Killing is never right. Peace is the only answer.